We're here today. This is my first meeting with the tourism group that is the passionate arm behind tourism in Louisiana. They are the rock that brings it all together. So I'm excited to not only talk to them and tell them about what our message is to Baton Rouge on tourism funding, but also to hear from them. What are the concerns they have around the state, and what can I do better to help us grow tourism? And I think that's going to be an important part of this program, to hear from the people. As I travel the state, there's a lot of great ideas out there, and a lot of people that have that love and passion for each corner of the state. So I want to give them an opportunity to speak out and put some of them ideas out here on the floor, and then we can nourish them and put our best foot forward to promote tourism in Louisiana.
What do you see as the outlook for tourism in Louisiana moving forward?
Well, I think we're going to have our challenges with the budget problems, but at a time when the oil industry is so depressed, there's no better time to promote tourism and bring it to the forefront and grow it to fill those hotel rooms that are being vacated by the oil field workers leaving. So now more than ever, now is not the time to cut a tourism budget. If anything, we should be invested more. With a 38-to-1 return on investment, there's no greater return on investment in Louisiana. Over $800 million we collected in taxes last year that you and I didn't have to pay. So that is a great tool to go to Baton Rouge and say the more we spend, the more we will benefit, and the less our tax problem will be in Louisiana. We need to rely on tourism to strengthen the economy at this time.
We are very proud to have him lead Louisiana tourism and grateful to have him here today. Let's welcome Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser.
Where were you for the last 2 years when I was traveling the state?
I hope you win.
That was great. Where were you for the last 2 years? I could have used that speech. Thank you. I am honored to be here today. And after last night and this morning, the love and passion for every area of the state in this room, I couldn't have a better job. So thank you for giving me that opportunity and that honor to serve you. Mayor, thank you for your friendship over the years and your leadership, and good luck with all the growth and opportunities you have in Lake Charles. It's going to be a challenge, but one I know you'll handle well, and thank you for your hard work. LTPA, you are the backbone of tourism, of everything we need at this crucial time in Louisiana. We're going to have many challenges, and it's going to take each and every one of you to help me keep tourism on the forefront. I want to take an opportunity to thank Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden, not only for the great job he did as Lieutenant Governor, but his unwillingness to work with me in the transition. And even though he does have to cut my budget, he's working with me. It was quite interesting to meet with him and him go over all the great things and plans he had for tourism. And then 2 weeks later, he gets the job across the street, and I got to walk over there, and he says, look, this is tough, but I got to cut your budget. So I know we're going to have some challenges, but with challenges comes opportunities. I want to thank the staff. I went up before Christmas and was able to sit with each of the people that work for Jay and assure them that I wasn't coming in to run everybody off, that he has assembled a great team, and I just wanted to add to that and move forward. And I want to thank them for staying, for believing in me, and especially Kyle, I want to thank you, you've been outstanding. So thank you so much. And Kyle, if I could get you to come up for a moment and recognize all the staff, because if I do it and miss somebody, I'm in trouble, and I'd rather you be in trouble. If you could come up and recognize your staff, I will recognize a couple of the new people I brought aboard. First, I got to recognize my wife, Cher. Thank you for allowing me to do this and your support. And I'll tell you real quick, Mark, you're not in charge of the auctions under this new role you play here. Mark was in charge of an auction in New Orleans, and he came up to me and said, now, Billy, he says, I need your help. There's a lot of wealthy people in the room, got a lot of money to spend, but I need some of your energy to bid the price up. I said, no problem, Mark. So the first item out was a trip for two to the American Idol finals. So the bidding was $4,500, so I quickly said $5,000. No one else bid. So my wife thanks you because she went to the American Idol. My longtime emergency manager, who knows nothing about tourism, but during the 5 hurricanes in the oil spill, nobody worked harder for Plaquemines Parish. Guy Legas is here as my chief of staff. Guy, thank you for moving to Baton Rouge and handling that. Deputy Secretary Rennie Burris. Rennie is not only an attorney, he's an oyster fisherman and has a fine love for the arts in this state and will be a great asset to our team. Rennie, thank you. Elizabeth, who many of you know, who does my scheduling and my assistant. Elizabeth comes from the Coast Guard, and with those rules and regulations, she kind of keeps me straight. So thank you, Elizabeth. And Chris Fortunata, who has left the communications director in Jefferson Parish to join us in Baton Rouge, will be a great asset. Thank you for being here, Chris, and your support. And Jessica, her assistant, is here as well. Thank you for making the move. It's a tough move sometimes to leave your home and come to Baton Rouge and spend many hours, so I really appreciate your dedication. And if you'll come introduce the rest of the staff, so if you forget somebody, they're mad at you.
That's why I brought a sheet of paper. I can't remember all the names of everybody that's here. We brought a good chunk of our staff today and appreciate all that they do. 2 of our deputy assistant secretaries, Nancy Watkins and Leanne Weil. As usual, in the back of the room, our Director of International Marketing, Mike Prejean. Our Director of Research, Jay Tusa. I saw Jay's in the middle. 3 of our marketing reps, Mary Williams, Connie Boudreau, and Lindsay Smith. And then the director of our Byways program, Doug Bourgeois. Thank you. And if I forgot anybody, would y'all raise your hand? Okay, we're good today.
Good job. First assignment, you did a great job. I had an opportunity to have lunch with the governor shortly after the election. And when we sat down to lunch, the first thing I committed to him that I wasn't running for governor in 4 years. And that is so important for me to stand up here and tell you I'm going to do the best job I can for tourism around the state, because we need the governor as a partner in tourism. We need to give him credit for everything we accomplish and make sure he has a seat at the table in supporting our efforts. Jay taught me that it's so important to have that working relationship. We're going to face enormous challenges to protect our dedicated fund and all the funds we get for all the programs around the state. Over the last 7 years, they have taken a tremendous hit, and it will be hit harder before we reverse that trend. That's where I need your support. We're going to have to work from the local, state level with our representatives, our senators. We're going to have to really make them understand that 38-to-1 return on investment, the $800 million that we don't have to spend in taxes. We all say it, we carry it around the state, but we've got to make them understand it and what it means to their community back home. We will be putting together a booklet for each of them to identify all the great things that happens in tourism, state parks, museums, historical sites, plantations, all the things that are so important to your community. We will put that in each legislator's hand. And as we travel around the state, meeting with them and the mayors and the local elected officials, we will encourage each and every one of them to voice their voice in Baton Rouge to let them know how tourism matters. That is going to be our biggest challenge. You know, as I travel around and here today and last night, people say, so what do you think about Pick Your Passion? You're going to keep it? You're going to change it? Are we going to rebrand Louisiana? And I got to tell you, I'm not going to make that decision. We are. We together as a team will make all the decisions of what's best to promote all of Louisiana. I'm just your champion. So together, as a matter of fact, today I would like to take the last few minutes that I have after I make a few other comments and have you give me some ideas and questions today in front of everyone so we can all start thinking of ways that we can do better. We can always do better. And I want to hear from you because I'm your champion to do what you need me to do to improve tourism in the state. We're going to have challenges, and we've got to convince Baton Rouge that we have to invest properly to keep tourism moving forward. We're going to have to look at things like private-public partnerships. We're going to have to think outside the box. I know many of you have heard about the state librarian. If I don't mention this, she'll get me when I get back to the office. But she has wanted to open a coffee shop in the bottom floor of the state library. 7 years she's tried to get this done. That would bring in enough income to restore the cuts to our office. We need to make those things happen. It's going to take some changes in state laws. We're not going to be able to do it just by a stroke of the pen. We're going to have to change some legislation, but I know we can make that happen. I want to focus on, around the state, some of the areas that feel they have been left out. They haven't got the help they need to promote their area. And as I've traveled the state, every parish has something to add to tourism. We're also got to focus on getting those people, Mark, from New Orleans to travel the rest of the state. I don't know how we do it yet, but I'm sure with all the passion and love in this room, we'll come up with a plan and be successful. So before I take any more time, I'd like to just get some questions. I think I got about 5 minutes left. Do we have a mic out there that we can pass around? Any question, there's not a dumb question you can ask or comment about what we need to do or what direction we may need to go. With the Viking Cruise Line coming to New Orleans, I've already heard some great ideas about encouraging them to make additional stops along the river to bring more tourism across North Louisiana. Great idea. Those are the kind of things we need to investigate and focus on and see if we can really make them happen to help bring people all around Louisiana. So do we have a mic out there?
We're representing Evangeline Parish. So I want to remind everybody that we have a unique bronze statue of Evangeline in Evangeline Parish. That would be another big special event to bring people to Evangeline Parish. And for those of you that haven't discovered the Louisiana's Mermaid yet, Google her. She's from Baton Rouge. She's fabulous. I think we need to promote the unique characters that we have in our state more and the unique historical landmarks more. Thank you.
And we got to charge you for a commercial because that was a sales pitch. You know, we have a real opportunity this year with the International Tour Operator Trade Show in New Orleans to bring those kind of historical value opportunities around the state to all of these tour planners in New Orleans this year. And we've got to make sure everybody here has a voice in how we put that together to make sure they learn about all of Louisiana at this show. This is a shot we don't get very often, and will have a great impact on tourism for many years to come. So I'm glad to hear that and make sure we include those things in our presentation, in our efforts for that great show in New Orleans. Anybody else? You know, early on I heard them talking about fooling with our dedicated fund, and I quickly lobbied not only the legislators but other groups to nip that from even being considered. But I wouldn't take it off the table. There's so many financial problems. They're worse than we ever thought. And what we're doing is we're going to put together a booklet that show the funding that Mitch Landrieu had when he was lieutenant governor, what Jay has battled for many years, and then where we are today. And then at the bottom of that page, we're going to have a footnote about all the BP money we spent that's no longer here. And so I think if we can put that in perspective and show them, look, for years when we've been on the downside, and if we continue on this, it'll start affecting the bookings in the hotel rooms and conventions and visitors. So I think this is a great time with the oil field down to focus on tourism being that economic engine we need to fill those hotel rooms. And I think if we can package that right and bring this passion in this room to Baton Rouge, I think we can be successful. Yes.
Good afternoon. Wendy Harrington, Cameron Parish Tourism. We have a lighthouse that we'd love to see some interest in. We have some Indian mounds, the natural experience of Cameron Parish, our coastline. Yeah, we're the opposite end of the state. We are the heel of the boot, and we'd love to have some visitors down our way and some things that we have going on down there looked at.
Thank you. You know, we're going to travel the state and meet in each area of the state with all the local elected officials, the tourism people, and take all those ideas together and go back to Baton Rouge and figure out how we can do better. Because I hear that all over the state, all these great assets we have, that we're not pushing those people to those areas. And in many cases, those areas don't have the funds or the ability to market properly those assets. So that's something I hear across the state, that we will spend some time and concentrate on helping push people to those areas.
Lieutenant Governor, I would like to see, if possible, the Mississippi River included in some of the tourism, strictly because it's like one of the top 5 attractions in the whole United States, and it means a whole lot to us, even if it's taking our land away from us. If we could encompass something not only with the river boats, but the things that are happening tourism-wise up and down the river, that would help.
You know, when I spoke to Viking Cruise Line before they made the big announcement to come to Louisiana, one of the problems, or one of the big costs at stopping at other facilities along the Mississippi is the building the docking facility. And we are looking into a Homeland Security grant to allow that to happen at many other stops, because as long as we let the Coast Guard use it in emergencies, we can get some of that Homeland Security money to build that facility, which will take the burden off of the Viking Cruise Line from having to build that facility, and be able to drop those tourists off at many other locations on the river. So you had brought that to my attention a year ago, and we've been working on that. So that's a great point, because you get them off those barges at other stops along the Mississippi, and they will venture over to many areas in the state.
From the Ouachita Parish, and what I'm going to ask about is not even in our parish, but I wondered, what are your plans for developing tourism for the World Heritage Site, Poverty Point?
We're going up next week and have a dinner with some legislators and local officials up there, because just like Toledo Bend, we've got not only issues with getting tourism there, but we've got infrastructure issues. And that's not under my job description, but in a short and a long-term plan, we've got to make sure the assets are there to handle the tourism, the hotels, the roads. In Toledo Bend's case, sewage. So we're going to get involved in every aspect of all those areas that ought to be attracting hundreds of thousands of people and help market it. But we also got to work with economic development and the local elected officials to make sure the infrastructure is in place to handle it. And I think that's been the challenge up there, is what do we promote if we can't house the people or we can't get them there? So we're going to have to go up there. We have our initial meeting next week to sit down and discuss what's our top priorities, and then how do we get to where we need to be to take advantage of that site, because it will bring people from all over the world, and we need to be prepared for that.
You're our good friend, and I just had a couple of questions, again regarding Viking and the different ports. It seems like just recently we found out in New Orleans that over 1 million consumer passengers had passed through the New Orleans port. However, very few people from the consumer or retail industry seem to be aware of that. It's in the trade publications, but it doesn't seem to get into the publications that are going to the consumer. So if there was a way for the ports to be a little more to speak to each other a little more, as you say, and then with Viking coming in, that's a European ship, and it's, you know, world-renowned, and I mean, there's been very little talk, and I believe that's happening next year in 17. So, and the other question, which probably opens a lot of worms, did we ever get the tobacco settlement, and where did it go?
Well, to answer your first question, historically for the last several years, economic development, the ports, tourism were not, there was that tension in Baton Rouge. And I got to tell you, even with all the budget problems we face, across Democrat, Republican, I feel a new working relationship in Baton Rouge that's going to benefit our ability to talk to economic development, to talk to the ports, to bring the best information together to promote all of Louisiana, because tourism is the economy. And so we've got to make sure the economic benefits are felt and realized by the ports. And I think that's going to be the greatest thing about working closely with the governor's people, to share all that information, both locally and in Baton Rouge, to make sure we're putting those figures out there. And on the tobacco settlement, I don't have a clue. You know, it's kind of like the lottery money. It was going to increase education and make it the best in the country, and everybody's like, well, where'd the money go? But I will mention the third pot of BP money that's coming down. Originally they said, nope, it can't be used for tourism or to promote, and it absolutely can. We've had that law looked at. So we're going to really have to put together a plan as that money comes down for that third pot of money to make absolutely sure that we're dedicating some of those funds for tourism around the state. It's going to be a challenge because that money, they're going to try to interpret the law to use it for everything. And it's going to be a lot of money, and we just want a small piece of it for tourism and for some of those infrastructure needs we may have to increase tourism. And that's going to be the challenge, showing that those assets that we need to improve to increase tourism are going to benefit in tax dollars long term. And it's all in the way we package it and sell it to Baton Rouge.
Lieutenant Governor, Ronnie Gocher from City of Gretna, West Bank. As you understand, I'm piggybacking off the money. As a whole, the West Bank, yes, we feed off of New Orleans, but I'm looking to build our parishes, which is Plaquemines, Lafitte, Westwego, City of Gretna. I feel we get left out. We work off of small budgets, as you understand. And I'm wondering, what can you do to help this part of Jefferson Parish, not separating us from Metairie, which is a big part, but we are our own island?
Well, one of the things I think we need to do on a statewide basis is identify all the conventions that don't fit New Orleans or Baton Rouge, but look at some of, like we had the International Therapeutic Riding Convention scheduled for the West Bank at the Aero Center 2 weeks after Katrina. Well, they moved to Houston. So we've got to look at some of these international smaller conventions that will bring people to areas, smaller areas around the state, that you don't have the budget or the ability to reach out to those groups. But if we identify all those groups in that range that don't fit into the hotel market in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, and we place them around the state and help fill those holes and fill those pockets of hotel rooms. We've talked about some events up in Ruston and over in Lake Charles. And so as we get what size facilities we got, and we put that map together, it's my job in Baton Rouge to reach out and try to put some of those events in those areas that will greatly help the economy in some of those areas that don't have the ability to reach out there and touch those people.
Speaking of being left out, Natchitoches Parish, the oldest city in the Louisiana Purchase, our plantations, our hotels, soon to be brand new hotel downtown right across from the Natchitoches Event Center. We need your help. Talk about small budgets. We have a small population, but we're the oldest city in the Louisiana Purchase. We are you. We started you. Please remember us. We have much to offer.
My wife makes me
Tourism.
bring me there every year for the Christmas lights, so I won't forget you.
And don't forget the museum. Thank you.
You know, I'm glad we did this because those are the things I've been hearing traveling the state for the last several years. And there are little problems in the scope of things, but in your community, each community, it's important. And I want you to know nobody's going to work harder to solve those problems and bring this state together and make it happen. It's easy when you have people like you to work for, people that have such love and passion. You can hear it in her voice, how she loves that city. And that's all over this room and all over this state. So we won't fail at this. We'll move forward. I see him giving me the time back there. So I always get in trouble. That's why the governor told me at the inauguration, I'm going to let you speak, but you only got 2 minutes. After that, I'm unplugging the mic. So, but listen, I just want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank the hotel, the mayor, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to do great things for the state of Louisiana. Thank you, and God bless you.
We do the annual Legislative Friend of Tourism Awards, and today we have two great statesmen with us. We have one from the House of Representatives and one from the Senate side, and fortunately both of them were able to be with us today. Both of these legislators understand and have supported tourism. On several occasions, I've heard both of them use the numbers that we use so often about generating $836 million in state tax revenue that as citizens, you and I didn't have to pay into the state general fund. They've supported the tourism budget as best they could during very difficult times, and we certainly are appreciative of all their help that they've given us and look forward to working with them these next 4 years as they help move our state in the right direction. First up from the representative side is our representative from District 21. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that's in the northern part of the state. We do have some great tourism and some great representatives up there. And his district covers the northeast parishes along the Mississippi River. He has spent his entire life hunting and fishing in the woods and the streams and the rivers in that area and completely understands outdoor tourism and what it means to our state. He was a leader and instrumental in forming the Vidalia Tourism District, which has now built the Vidalia Convention Center, the Riverwalk Complex, and it houses our Welcome Center in Vidalia. This year he will be a senior member of the Louisiana House of Representatives and will serve as a floor leader for the state, a position we know that he will use to continue to be our advocate. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Governmental Friend of Tourism in the House, the Honorable Representative Andy Anders.
Thank you, Kyle. And a minute ago, I visited with so many last night. Mr. Bill was very passionate, and y'all are too. And I am too about tourism in the state of Louisiana. I'm proud of Louisiana. And I travel all over the country in the southern hospitality that we get in the South. And Billy Nungesser, being a lieutenant governor, and I've served under 3, and I told somebody, he's kind of like a pit bulldog. I didn't say you look like one. I said you act like one. When you get knocked down, you get back up and you bite. And a minute ago, I was telling Ronnie, I said, I wonder what song they're going to play when we're walking up there. It's the Death March into the house. And I said, we're under, lots of pressure to figure out ways. And there are ways to work around without making big drastic. But we made some mistakes. We're not going to make those mistakes again. We have a governor now, and Lieutenant Governor, we're going to listen to y'all. We're going to work with y'all. And I have Lynette Tanner and Sherry and Jamie and some from my area. And my area follows the Mississippi River. When you enter into Arkansas, you come all the way to the boot, 200 miles. But I had tourism. I took guided quail hunts. That was in the early 90s. And I fed off bread and breakfast houses or whatever in Natchez, Mississippi, and now we have them in Louisiana to bring people in and to take them hunting. And really, I found out something else in this, is where I am in the hunting, we changed our masses. I said, Father, there's only 40 of us in the Catholic Church. I said, we have all these hunters. So we have a duck hunting mass, a deer hunting mass, and now we fill the church. So there are marketing strategies in your churches. Think about, so work with your priests. But thank you for this award.
Thanks, Andy. Our governmental friend of tourism from the Louisiana State Senate this year is from District 27, right here in southwest Louisiana. This senator has worked tirelessly with Shelley and her team at the CVB to preserve the tourism dollars for promotion and programming in order to enhance the economic fabric of southwest Louisiana. In fact, I had the opportunity to have a shovel in my hand and stand next to Senator Johns as we broke ground on the Creole Nature Trail, Heritage Adventure Point in Sulphur. Shelley, what was that, a year and a half ago when we broke ground? And then upon completion, I had the opportunity to stand right next to Senator Johns again as we cut the ribbon on that wonderful center that's at the point of the Creole Heritage Nature Trail. He, during the opening that day, made a statement: no other industry does more for Louisiana than tourism. And so, Senator Johns, it is with great pleasure that I present you with the governmental friend of tourism. You certainly have been a friend of ours, Senator Ronnie Johns.
Wow, thank you. You know, to receive an award like this is special, but to get it in your home district is even more special. So thank you very much. And Kyle, I want you to know the words that I said that day, I truly, truly mean it. Now, you know, I sit on the Senate Finance Committee. We love your industry. You bring in more money to this state than anything else that goes on. I know you read the newspapers every day. You watch the 6 o'clock news. You watch the 10 o'clock news at night. You see the budget problems that are getting ready to hit Baton Rouge in about 2 weeks from now as we go into special session. If it would not be for this industry that's sitting in this room today, not only would we have budget problems, this state would be bankrupt. You are the pulse. You are the pulse of this state. Bill LANGKOPP, congratulations. I've never known you to be speechless. I've known Bill a long time. What a great award, great honor for a great man. To my Southwest Louisiana Convention and Visitors Bureau, Shelley Johnson, your staff and your board, thank you for everything that you do in Southwest Louisiana. I think Shelley's out there. There's Shelley right there. Not only have they made Southwest Louisiana a place to visit, they've made it a destination point, and we're very proud of the work that they have done. Keep us in your prayers. Keep Andy and I and the other 142 legislators in your prayers when we go into special session on February the 14th. It will be a historic 3 weeks as we make some incredibly hard decisions on the future of this state. But we do know that because of you, our job is going to be a whole lot easier than it could have been. Thank you for loving this state. And I know that's why you're here, because you love this state. To my wife, Michelle, she's here. Thank you for your support. Now, I want you to know she loves your industry, too. She likes to travel. So. And to Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, I had spent time with him last night. I had breakfast with him this morning. Now I've had lunch with him today. I don't know where we're eating. Oh, we're going to be together tonight, I guess. No, you're not going to be here tonight. But anyway, Nobody more passionate about what you do than that man right there. And I'm going to tell you something, Billy. We will never unplug your microphone, okay? You keep telling this story, and we're going to be in great shape. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this incredible honor. I'm very privileged to be here with you today, and I look forward to working with you for many more years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Johns. Congratulations to this year's winner of the Will Mangum Tourism Lifetime Achievement Award, Bill LANGKOPP. We would also love to hear a few words from you, Bill, after you accept your award. If you will, please take a few minutes to address our attendees.
Thank you very much. I have struggled with trying to find the words to express how grateful I am for this recognition. It's very meaningful, especially with Will's name on it. Thank you all. I'm almost speechless. Operative word, almost. But bear with me. LTPA, thank you. Thank you to the board, the staff, the committee, the membership, anybody who had anything to do with this. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you also to the board of the Louisiana Hotel Association for giving me the support that I've had through the years to do the things we've done. I want to mention a little bit about opportunity, because the introduction said something about how I started. We have an incredible industry here. We've come a long way. Look at this room. We've got a long way to go. Opportunity is just wild ahead of us. So for you young people, especially the earlier award winners, stick with it. It's where Louisiana's going to go, who knows? To think that a Ninth Ward kid, never been anywhere, started as a bellboy, got in this industry, stumbled into it, and I'm standing here now. It just tells you what the future can be for any of you. It's really incredible. So thank you a lot. Now, one more little thing. You all see me all the time. I bounce in and out of meetings. I'm by myself. I have support. I have board members. I have hoteliers. I bounce in and out of your city. I'm by myself. But I'm not. So help me to recognize the rudder of the LANGKOPP ship. Bear with me, when you get old, this is significant. My best friend, my partner, my roommate, my wife Amanda.
When you get a group of people together that are so excited about tourism, and especially under the leadership of our new Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, it's an exciting time to be a part of Louisiana. We have great things ahead of us. We've had some history in the past that we're bringing back to people to help them understand the importance of our region that we live in, as well as we have a wonderful future. And we're very excited about really promoting tourism and all the wonderful things that tourism can do for our individual communities, large and small.
I think that Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser stepped in today and showed us a passion, a hope for the future, that he's going to give us strong leadership that we need so badly in the tourism industry. You know, tourism is an economic development engine in all of our small and large communities. What Billy Nungesser is bringing to us is security and keeping those programs going. He's going to fight for us, and we feel like we've really got a fighter, and I think that we heard that in the audience's response today.
Listen, there's not a better group in the state of Louisiana that has more love and passion for what they do. They obviously don't do it for the money. They do it because they absolutely love, whether it's a bed and breakfast down in Houma or a plantation home in North Louisiana or a swamp tour down in South Louisiana. Whatever they do, they have that love and passion to bring that message to the world and the rest of the country. And so it's a great opportunity. I couldn't have a better job to bring those people together and spread our message around the world. And I'm really excited about that.
If people have questions like more information about Louisiana tourism, what should they do?
Absolutely. You know, our website, our Facebook, we're going to be adding to it. We're going to be enhancing the social media aspect of it. But that's our greatest asset is the people. The more we can hear from them and what we need to do, it'll help us focus our message in promoting Louisiana.